Well, that's to say, is that our last topic for tonight? Or
Nope, we actually got one more.
oh, okay. Shoot, the way we talk about this, you think we finished. Okay, go ahead.
Huh.
Okay, so this last story comes from Dirty Laundry Media. Apparently, a 29-year-old Asian by the name of Ryan Lee Wynn, excuse me, shot a 6-year-old boy by the name of Kobe Daniel because he left his bicycle in the front yard. First, initially, the young Asian man went after the 6-year-old with a sledgehammer. And because he was too quick and he got away, he then went in his house and retrieved a pistol, where he then shot from his window inside the house out towards the 6-year-old and shot him in the arm. He was arrested, but he was released on a $10,000 bond. And, the parent is outraged because, pretty much what he's saying is that that's the lowest bond you can get. And he's outraged because the 29-year-old pretty much attempted to kill his son.
Mm.
Now, I do have a little bit of footage. I could go into it. It's up to you guys. What do you want me to do?
Uh, I don't know. It's up to Caramel. I'm familiar with the story.
Oh, you're familiar with it, you said?
Yeah, if you ain't see it, probably. I mean, you might want to see it.
Um, no, I'm good. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So, S, what are your thoughts?
Okay, so just for I guess the audience, um, from what I know, there was a Asian man who shot the kid out the window for leaving his bike in there, in his yard, and I mean, I don't even know what else. As far as the actual individual story, obviously, is completely fucked up. Like, I mean, the kid could have died. I mean, he shot him through the window. He's not a sniper. So the fact that he got hit in the arm and the bullet went through the arm and came out through the other side, um, is complete sheer luck. Like, that is attempted murder. You know what I'm saying? And the $10,000 bond, um, that's egregious for an attempted murder on a what is he, 6 years old?
A 6-year-old. Let me play
Yeah.
a little
So
bit of it to give a little bit more premise because I think, we'll need it in a little bit.
okay.
Daniel trying to figure out why Ryan Lee Wen is out of jail after allegedly shooting his son Kobe.
He tried to hit me with a sledgehammer, but that's not gonna work because I'm too fast.
So then what did he do?
Got a gun. Boom! Shot me right here.
It's all on video Saturday afternoon on Candlewood Lane. You'll see kids playing, hear a gunshot, then Kobe realizes he's hit. Lee Wen allegedly fired through his front window. The bullet went in Kobe's arm and out the other side.
He's bleeding! He got shot! Kobe got shot! He's bleeding! What? He's shot there! He got shot! He's bleeding!
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's horrible, and the father in another clip, he said that his son really don't know how close he came to death, and but he know, I'm like, yeah, that little kid, he really don't know, he's talking about it as if it was a small confrontation, um, but he really was, I don't know, inches away from not being here. If the bullet would have hit his neck or a main artery or whatever. I mean, it was I don't know, it was crazy. Um, but to go a little bit deeper, I am wondering what's well, now I know that the actual uh agenda is to push violence against Asians, because if this was the other way around, where a black man had shot an Asian boy, one, he wouldn't have definitely we would have heard about this on our news station, no matter what part of the country this story was at. Two, he damn sure would have been out on $10,000 bond and just able to go home. And it would have been such a big deal. You know what I'm saying? It would have been a huge deal. Now I don't know what this is, but it seems like there is a agenda to push black against Asians. I don't know. It seemed like this has been going on since, I don't know, sometime a couple of years ago. You know, with all types of skirmishes in the nail salons. Then when COVID hit, it was Chinese people was kicking Africans and black people out of the country, and it was just, you know what I mean. And now it seems like it's a daily push every day with some sort of conflict between blacks and Asians. I again, I don't know what it's for, but I choose to look a little bit deeper and at least ask the question, what is this shit all about? You know what I'm saying? What are they setting up? What are they trying to do to have people who historically live together amongst each other in close proximity? I mean, interacting with your feet and shit every week, and it to be little to no actual confrontation between the two, to all of a sudden we just can't stand each other. Something is going on with it, you know what I'm saying? But on the actual personal note of the story, you know, I'm glad that the kid is alive, and you know, it's not, if he would, obviously if he wouldn't be here, it would be a bigger deal. But if it was the other way around, it'd be a very big deal as is. That's all
Where
I
was
got on.
this? Where was this at?
I have no idea. I
I
forgot.
don't know.
And did they say that the Asian guy was just out of jail or something? What did they say?
Yeah,
Yeah,
no.
he went
He
home.
was arrested, but he was let out on a $10,000 bond.
Okay. Okay. I mean, is he mentally ill? Like, what the heck is his problem? It's like, how do you shoot
I mean,
somebody for
ain't
putting a?
everybody who commits those type of crimes mentally ill, I
Yeah.
believe.
I mean,
They
yeah,
don't
I
care
guess
about
so.
that. They just go with the bullshit that niggas did.
I mean, because what is it? He put a bike on his lawn. He shot him.
Yeah. I mean, if you ask me, there had to be some type of history before with, you know, the kids
This,
running in his yard, you know, the typical story of don't play in my yard. You know what I'm saying? But to get shot, nah.
yeah, that's true. Because when we were growing up in over my grandma's house, she had a mean neighbor, and if you even stepped on her
It was
grass, she'd be
Detroit.
like, "Oh, Detroit." You even step on her grass, she would be throwing stuff out the window and cussing you out and everything. But she had a mental health issue. But she come after you with all kinds of stuff. She was out of control. Like, seriously.
Yeah, because I
Um,
ain't gonna lie, kids can be annoying like that motherfucker. They can.
but to shoot at him
Right.
and to actually hit him with a gun, like, what is that? Like, I don't even know what to say
Yeah.
about that. That's just don't make no sense. That's just the crime just don't fit the what you done did. Like, you know,
Right.
you go to their parents and tell them, maybe you know, I mean, I can even understand you running after them around or whatever, trying to scare them, but you actually take a gun out, stay inside your house and shoot them from the window.
From
Like,
the window.
what is that? Like, that
Not to
I don't.
mention, he said he tried to hit him with a sledgehammer.
Yeah, I mean, a sledgehammer too. It's like, what? No, I'm just mind boggled by the situation. It's very scary too, because it's like, besides the mental health situation, probably, which is something that's probably involved, is the fact that how people see children, black children, as threats and be willing to, like, hurt them. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
um, you know, you see a 6-year-old child and you're willing to run at them with a sledgehammer and pull a gun out on them. Like, what can a 6-year-old child really do to you? Even in your lawn, what can they really do? You know? So it's just like also that whole idea where, you know, your children are looked at as like criminals and somebody to, you know, defend your land against or whatever. You know, I don't know what the mindset is, which is always why I'm like, you know, even with my own child, I'm always like, you know, this whole thing, you know, once they're not considered cute anymore, or, you know, when they start seeing them as threats or whatever it is, you know, it becomes very dangerous. And, you know, we just need to aware of that. But I just didn't understand it. I'm like, what is this? He's mentally ill. Like, I don't get it. Maybe there'll be more about the story, um, you know, later on. The bond wise, that's definitely nothing. Now that's criminal. The amount of money that, you know, he had to what he had to pay to get out. That he shouldn't have been able to get out just like that. He should have had, because someone that would shoot a child, and you have to also worry about what they're going to do when they get out.
Right.
So you should be making it hard for them to get out. So their bond should be a high amount, and it should be a lot of loss in it if they do something or you know, mess with it. So I mean, I don't think that was in a good sense of the community to just let him out on something so light of a bond. You know, just seems a little dangerous and silly.
Right.
You know, not calculating in terms of the judge and the you know, whatever they did, that doesn't seem. So yeah.
Well, I will say this: even though kids can be annoying, there's no reason to shoot one. I think that at the end of the day, what they did say though further in the news report is that he was having problems with neighbors. Um, and I'm assuming that he had, you know, a lot of black neighbors. You know, black people can be annoying and mess with people. But at the same time, Asians usually ain't no punks either. And I'm not gonna say that I'm I never believe that all of when people are racist, but I have experienced racism from Asians, okay? And I have seen them do some stuff. But does that apply to all Asians? No, it does not. You know, the same way I done seen black people do some stuff against some other cultures as well. So that doesn't exclude them either. I think at the end of the day, it just really comes down to the person. And unfortunately, this dude was all the way in the wrong. And you know, kids are resilient. So luckily that, you know, he's young enough to bounce back from this, and you know, it's like an adventure for him. But I'm really worried about the child's state of mind as he gets older. See, because right now, I don't think they're really trying to pin necessarily blacks against Asians. I think they just have a whole I think they have a whole objective to just pin blacks against everybody. You know what I'm saying? Because for a long time, especially in Brooklyn, it's always been blacks against Jews, especially since the Crown Height, you know, riots, whatever. So it's always us against somebody, us against the man, whoever the hell the man is, us against the Asians. But we still go to their stores and support them, you know. Um, can the same be said that they support black community? No, they don't, you know, but at the same time, does that stop us from supporting them? No, it doesn't. Just because they're able to bring a service into our community that we can't necessarily bring into theirs, you know. So again, it speaks back to one of the beginning points that we made earlier, which is, you know, our sense of community. You know, I think everything that's happening now in the world is just highlighting more and more why we need to have more of a sense of black community. Not saying that that is the end all be all. Not saying that that is like the milk and honey golden of heaven. But I think if more black people saw themselves having more opportunities, we would have less bullshit going on in the world. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying it's going to take all the bullshit out, because, you know, there still is some people that's just going to be hell bent to be niggas and just be hell bent out here to do what they're going to do. And that's what it is at the end of the day. And that's not a black thing. That's just a people thing, right? But I think if we do expose our people, because we are the, the people of culture that have been deprived the most, to be able to have better opportunities, to be exposed to more education, to have healthier living practices put in place, of not eating pork and, having other things like that be encouraged. I think we will live happier and healthier lives. We will encourage our families to live happier and healthier lives. And like you said, it would start more of a trend, and it would take faster than it has for like the past 20 to 25 years. So, yeah, I'm sad this had to happen though. And somebody should have beat his ass, but he gonna get what's coming to him, especially with a name like Ryan Lee Wynn. He ain't fooling nobody.
Do you guys think that because of the all this like stuff around Asian what's going on with the different hate stuff, that now you think people that maybe live in communities of Black people Asian people are becoming more fearful and like unrealistically, like, how you keep watching something or you're around something and you start getting more fearful of your environment?
I think that's what they want to happen. It's just like when people, it's just like Caramel, when we grew up in Brooklyn all of our lives mostly, even though we traveled internationally, right? But then when we went to school down south, what was the first thing they said to us? Oh, do y'all have to duck bullets when y'all go to school? Like, what? Who the fuck? What? No. Like, you think we just in the streets every day, just like do, and that's how we get to school? Like, people are ignorant, you know what I'm saying? Unfortunately, and they believe a lot of narratives. And I think what's going on is that, people of a higher, proximity, complexion for the protection, whatever you want to call it, are trying to set a different narrative out in the world. Especially, with the Trump world order in place. I think they're trying to set a different narrative and trying to kind of like turn things around. Do I think much of it is going to change? We'll see.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of who's going to fall for the Kool-Aid. But my grandmother always told me never trust the idiot box.
I definitely agree with that.
I hear that.
Agree with that.
So, I mean, that was our last topic, and then we were gonna have an open forum discussion about the retrograde and how it can deteriorate. But we still got next week, and I believe next week we still gonna be in this retrograde, are we not?
Yep.
How long does it last?
I think it's finished on June 22nd.
Which is actually on Tuesday. So yeah, that'll be the perfect day for us to talk about it because it'll be at the end of it.
So it ends on like Tuesday is the new we out of it, or Tuesday is the last day of it.
The last day of it.
Yeah, Tuesday is like the last day of it. But just like how a star leaves dust or how people leave farts, sometimes things linger for a couple of days afterwards. So it ends on the 22nd, but depending on, when your birthday is, it might still have some lingering effects a couple of days after. So you figure by like the 25th or the 27th.
Right.
You'll be fully safely out of it.
I ain't gonna lie, yeah. I've had a couple of communication issues.
It's going around.
It's happening. Trust me. I feel you.
Yeah, technology's breaking down. Wi-Fi, people butt dialing in,
You're
they
talking to people.
You're
talking to people. A communication, they're not getting what you're saying. You know what I mean? Like
they're not hearing it right. They ain't listening. They're not receiving it. It ain't coming out right.
Do they have astrology like in colleges, like to learn about it, like really?
No,
Or
they don't, but they should. And if they did, let
why
me tell
don't?
you who would be your top professors. Me and Caramel. Okay. That was because we got a master's, a PhD, and about like we got a couple of doctorates in this. And you know what, Caramel? I was just thinking, he had me thinking we should actually start an astrology thing because we need to help these people. We need to help these people. But nah, there's not a college. I mean, you could always study
Because
astrology in the books. It's just a lot of time and a lot of books, a lot of reading, a lot
I
of
was I was
reading.
I was looking at something and it was basically saying that you know, the whole astrology timetable was created in Africa, and
Yeah.
the Greeks, they used to come to learn. I mean, I'm getting some of the details fucked up, but basically
No, that's right.
they
They
came
came
to
to learn
learn
and stole it, like the
and stole
parasites
it
they
and
are.
killed them, right? And then that's when they started basically using it, and because of that, they technology, all that shit got advanced. And I'm just like,
Mhm.
why hasn't anybody in the whole in the whole system not said, let's explore the actual power of the universe? I mean, we're surrounded by it, but I mean they got colleges for everything you could think of. Why not
You
that? It
know
must be
why?
so powerful that they don't want people to learn it.
No, you know what it is? You know why? Because Black people are powerful. All right. We created telescopes. We named stars. White people and the Greeks, the Spanish, they still don't know how Black people made the pyramids. How the
Well,
fuck
maybe
you
they know
like
now.
it ain't nothing out there. No, the whole thing about it is that we are an amazing people. Okay. And I personally believe that when they found this out and they learned this, the only way they can dismantle us is to, just pretty much rip us from ourselves and dismantle us and pick us apart. They had the power
You know, is
and they
that the
had the
wrong
time.
narrative? Is that the wrong narrative to have?
I mean, it could be the wrong narrative, but it's my narrative
No, no, I'm
because
not saying. I mean, it's a
oh,
lot of people narrative that black people are this and
listen,
black people are that,
look, when you
and
go
and
to museums,
but I'm just trying to
and
say,
you look at when you look at the Kemetic statues, you think that
no, no.
all
But what I'm trying to say
statues
is
broke their
what
noses.
I'm,
They didn't want you to see that those people was Black. They wanted white people and they wanted Black people to look to those people. And the Greeks are the ones who discovered those statues because they stole them out the ground in Africa, okay, without
no,
permission.
I get all of that, right? All I'm saying is if we keep saying thinking that we are special because we are special and not exploring why we're special, then because maybe the reason why we were special is because we had information and knowledge from beyond this planet. You know what I'm trying to say? And now they're
Mm-hmm.
using that same information and knowledge to get their shit advanced. But we still stuck on we're special, and maybe we're not special. I'm not saying we're not. I'm just saying maybe we're not actually special. Our knowledge and information mixed in with us is special. But if we don't know what actually makes us special, we just keep saying we're special. That might not be the right way to think.
All right. Well, everybody has their own thing that they specialize in, right? But at the end of the day, the one thing I think that people always want to try to tap into when it comes to our culture, and the one thing that they always try to understand, but they can never get wrapped around, is our soul.
Mm-hmm.
They can't ever really, even when they think they had the concept, right? Justin Timberlake almost had the formula, but no, try again. So it's like, I think that we're always gonna have something that they want and to tap into, and it really is, like you said, for every person to tap into their inner potential. But I think there were a lot of things that they also created to make diversions in our way. You know, the way that they produce our chicken with hormones, and the pathological, or neurological warfare that they do on our food, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's more liquor stores on black corner in black neighborhoods than there are churches. Why is that? You know what I'm saying? I think that systematically we're set up to, and that's one of the things that is
The
a pet
church is
peeve of
like to
mine
the
about
liquor store to
society,
me.
is that we're set up for instant gratification now. It's like if you don't do it in that moment, it doesn't matter. And most of the time, even when people have a cause, if you give them 5 minutes, they'll forget it. You know, that's why I was really proud of people when the George Floyd thing came around, because it was one time when everybody really stopped and they didn't they didn't, they went past a week.
That's because they were in COVID.
That's true too.
That was the
But,
changing of the situation, though. Because
right.
if you're
Because
always running and you're always, yeah.
So everybody had a moment to really stop and witness the injustice. So that also helped. But that's also part of the problem. We're the minorities. No matter what's going on, we're always the ones running. We're the ones that still continue to have to work. Do you have time to think about that stuff? And then when you do, society tells you, man, fuck all of that. Do you got them new Jordans though? Because that's what's gonna make you feel better. You know what I'm saying? So I think that there's so many diversions out there, for our people that helps keep us stuck. Is that a valid excuse? No. But not everybody can rise. Not everybody has the mindset, the grade, or the experience to rise above that. There's some people that are stuck. There's some people that just said fuck it early on in life. And they're just gonna make the best out of the hand that they're dealt, right? We hear that a lot amongst a lot of our friends or associates or people that we grew up with that are still in those same places and spaces. So it's like, what do you do?
Mm. 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 Yeah, I hear you.
If I didn't have friends, that exposed me to like other countries where I was able to meet other, people from other nationalities and actually share in genuine experiences, can I say that I would be as open to them? No, I wouldn't. And that was, I consider that, things like that to just be a blessing and happenstance, because, when you're so young, you don't even know to pray for things like that, right? You know what I'm saying? And then as you get older, I've been to Jamaica how many times? I've been to Barbados, my other friends have been to Kenya, South Africa, other places. And I have friends in their 30s that are just going to these places for the first time. Exposure.
Mm.
Other people don't have that. I work in camps where if kids go from Brooklyn to Manhattan, that shit is a new world.
Mm.
That's how small some people's worlds are. So,
And you don't leave your borough, right?
exactly. And at first I was like, and they would come up to me and I'd be like, nah, you joking, right? They were like, nah, we're going to, so what we going to see? I'd be like, you know what? We're going to take the extra long way just for you. We're going to go down Broadway. You going to see, this, that, let me make the most of your experience, because the most they do is go to the Linden movie theater. Shout out to the Linden movie theater. Over there by the pink houses. But even so, like that's how limited a lot of kids, mindset are. So the fact that, some of you even went to school in Manhattan, a lot of kids don't even have that type of exposure now. And you know that now that COVID is in play, what? Please. They're not even leaving a block, let alone a borough.
Mm.
So,
It's just speaking quickly to what S was saying, if saying that we're special is that if that's the narrative we should have, and if the knowledge that we had or we have is what made us special, I think, yeah, the knowledge we had made us special, but we still have that knowledge, but we're not always able to tap into it, because I think that the things that make us special is, one is the way you can see what the things of our civilization, like what we've created, how, things we've created in the past, but also just what we've dealt with in the future, like in our time, not our time necessarily, but just in the times. Like you think about what kind of genocide and different things were done to your people all over the world, and I definitely think if all over the world people are trying to keep Black people down, it's not just here in America, that's all over the world. You find in different cultures, you'll find that they have ancient things of Black people that they hide, that they try to keep out of the public eye. You know what I mean? People don't do that unless they know something about you, unless they know that you're special. And people don't try to keep you down unless they know there's something to keep down. Because if there's nothing to keep down, there's no reason to keep you down. And there's no reason to make so much work on keeping you down. So, and even though people have been able to keep us down, in a lot of ways people haven't, because a lot of things that has happened, you would think that we would be a people that would no longer be around because of the things that were done, and has been done and continues to be done. But people are still here, and people are still even within some of the challenges we have in our communities, people are still thriving and people are still living. And when you know what people are going through and they're still making it, or they're still able to continue, that there has to be something. Because some people, when things happen, they jump off of buildings. If they lose their money, they kill themselves. If they lose their job, they come and kill everybody else. If they, there's some people, when things happen, it's the end for them. You know what I mean? And for whoever's around them. If people are systematically and constantly and trying to keep you down and keep you away from yourself, you damn right there's something special about you. You're damn right.
I hope that's the case. I mean,
you're damn right.
Because lately I've been exploring the prospects of, because they could, you know what I'm saying? Because we have yet to overcome figuring out. Like, we still argue amongst each other about something that they've put into place. And this is what I'm saying. I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is. I don't even want to say what I think sometimes that is. But it's not to me, it's not the symptom of a people that's really special. It's people who don't have information and don't have knowledge. And again, did we have the information and the knowledge? I believe we did, but I think we got to get back to that. We got to get back to figuring things out. I mean, getting into the science of things. If you get into the science of things, there's nothing to really talk about. You go with the research and what like if I eat cookies every day and I document that I ate cookies every day, and then at the end of the week I saw that I felt this way and that way, or whatever the case is, it's nothing to talk about. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to wonder, you getting fat, because I know what happened. I ate cookies all week. You know what I'm saying? Like, at some point, the knowledge, the information, the science of it all has to be pushed in front of even being Black, because being Black is getting a lot of people are still getting killed. A lot of people are still getting hurt. A lot of people are still taking advantage of each other, and all these people are Black too. I mean, there's great Black people, but there's fucked up Black people too. And it's gotta be more than just being black. It's gotta be some information that we're missing that needs to be more important than our skin color.
Yeah, but if you I agree with the information, and there's things that we aren't able to tap into, we don't know, not that we don't know like on a physical level. But don't you think that if people are surviving, because I feel like that's what it is, like if you put people in a situation where they're constantly surviving, they're constantly trying to get to the next thing, just like people rose up with George Floyd. Why do people rise up with George Floyd? Because people had time to think, people were home, people were, chilling, people were, but when you're in your everyday life and things are constantly coming at you, you're constantly being, you can't, it's hard to be a revolutionary. That's why most revolutionaries were people who were in positions of power and in good positions in their uh, education, in their lifestyle. A lot of most revolutionaries started with middle class people, with people that had certain things. Why? Because people, when you don't have certain things, a lot of times you're too busy dealing with the survival of it. And if you keep people in a survival situation, then they are never able to get to, they're never as able to get to that part past that, when you're not surviving, when you could get to then think about something or react to something or charge on something, or delve into your spirit and like really connect to who you are and your power. You know what I mean? So I think even the things that happen are, or the things that are around, are purposeful, because if you give people a chance to breathe, they might breathe and remember who they are. And then what you gonna do then? You know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, what you're saying makes sense, right? But that's still information. Like what you're talking about is a scientific philosophy that may or may not true, but it sounds like it has a lot of validity to it, right? Mm-hmm. So it's still you figuring out some other information. It's not just you saying, yo, I'm black, I'm special. Because for all the kings and queens that we call each other, they not everybody in the village is a king and a queen. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a king and a queen, and then a bunch of villages. So all of us ain't kings and queens, but if you let us tell it, everybody's a king, everybody's a queen. What makes you a king or a queen? What do you need to make a king or a queen? You know what I'm saying? And once we start answering those questions, like you said, maybe it is about that time, not having to worry about striving for $1 and, making a mortgage or a rent payment. That's something that you need to open up your mind to even be. But even that is still some sort of answer past I'm just special. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? It's a little bit deeper than that, and and that's why I said with the astrology thing, if our civilization was built on that, African civilization was built on that.
That's true.
Where they like, why the fuck is that? Like, why? I mean, and we are 3 people that's into astrology, right? Even more than the average person. We get into 2nd and 3rd signs and risings and all these other things. But let's keep it real. We really don't know. I mean, I'm gonna speak for myself. As much as I've read, I really know that I'm on the edge of the tip of the information that's really out there concerning the stars and concerning the sun and astrology and what it all means. Like, and there's no class for that. There's no college course for that.
Oh yeah, because they're not trying to teach that, because that makes power. Like, if you're able to utilize your universe and the planetary positions to work in your favor, that's why it's damned in religious situations. That's why
yes, I believe that too. They deter you from it. Yeah.
Oh, of course. Even from your spiritual practices, what they would consider paganism and those kind of things. That's the reason why too. Of course.
And that's the reason that they implement Christianity, because, of course, if you were to practice and start to worship your own gods and they start talking to you, of course you'll start getting the messages that you're supposed to start getting, right?
Right.
systematic
All right.
destruction.
I mean,
Destruction.
but it's only looked as paganism and as something bad when it has to do with other people and other religions, especially people of color, like Black people and stuff like that. Because if you look at America, all we do is pagan rituals 24/7.
Mm.
Our
I
whole
mean,
thing
most
is
of the
our whole
holidays
thing.
that we celebrate.
Yeah,
are
I mean, our
yeah.
Memorial Days, our Christopher Columbus, those are all ancestral worshiping. Your Memorial Days worshiping the dead, that's ancestral worshiping. And not
Mhm.
only do we do it ourselves in our country, but we allow for other people around the world to be a part of it so that they can bring their energy to it, so they can keep giving us energy, our country energy. So it's like we are every day, all the time, dealing in ancestral and pagan practices, but it's not looked at like that when it's white statues of white men. Why do we have statues everywhere of this person, that person, Christopher Columbus, this person? Why is it so hard to even get a statue of a Black person or someone famous, Black famous, or someone else up in America? Because that doesn't keep the energy of who they want to control the ancestral grounds of this place. You put in the people that you want to be worshiped and you want to keep that energy going, and then you put your country to practice all these holidays that ritualize them, and then people have to watch it on TV and take off of school, and then you know and it's called a parade, or it's called a memorial, or it's called whatever, but what it is ancestral worshiping and worshiping the dead and that kind of stuff. And that's what people did in Africa and all these other communities of primitive societies, of keeping their ancestors forward so that they can wield their power. So people are doing that while everybody else is like, oh no, I don't do that voodoo stuff. Oh no, I don't do that black magic. Oh no, we don't do. Okay. But you practicing that anyway. You're just doing it for other people's ancestry, not yours.
Right,
That's it.
right, right,
You know what I
right,
mean? And
right.
if people were to look at it like that, and see how we're practicing it on an international level, and we practice on a whole country level, then I think people will be thinking differently about maybe putting a little picture up of your grandma on your little countertop and lighting a candle for her when you coming around lighting candles for millions of people you don't even know. You know what I'm saying? So
Big time facts.
like we do our ancestral work, we do what we do, but we're not doing it in regards to us. Other people are doing it and showing it as something else, not realizing what it really is. It's disguised under something else, but what it
Right.
is ancestral work. And we naming our names of our streets. Everyone, every city has the same names, street names, everything. Why do you think that is?
Yep, to keep that same energy.
You know what I'm saying? Why do you think that
That
is?
same
Come on
energy
now.
rotating and
That's right.
circulating. Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Mm,
So
mm.
that's when people ask me, you would do ancestry? Yeah, definitely. I'll give homage to my ancestors. I need them to make sure that my life is going right.
Facts.
Mm.
You know what
I
I'm
need
saying?
that type of protection.
Okay, I need them. Just like, yeah. So anyway, we up on our thing way too long. Y'all know this. We way past our time.
That's all right. We don't mind talking about the ancestors because we don't mind giving them homage. Like you said, in 2 more days is Juneteenth.
Yes, it
So,
is.
Mm.
we thank our ancestors.
Exactly.
Just like,
Absolutely.
just like we thank the ones in Tulsa and around the world. So we took an extra minute to educate y'all tonight, but y'all have a good night. Hope y'all continue to rock out with the Brooklynites. Later, beautiful people.
Later, y'all.